The sky was painted in soft shades of orange as the sun prepared to disappear behind the distant hills. The evening breeze carried the faint fragrance of jasmine from the small garden outside the house. Inside the modest home lived Aisha, a mother whose heart was full of memories, some warm, some painful, but all tied to one person, her son. Arham. Aisha sat in her wooden rocking chair, the same chair she had used when Arham was a baby. The creaking sound of the chair had become a part of the house, just like the ticking wall clock, the old bookshelf, and the faded family portraits on the wall. But none of them echoed louder than the silence that filled the home. She gently traced her fingers along the edges of an old photograph. A young boy smiling with innocent eyes, holding his small school bag. His shirt was slightly messy, his hair uneven, but his smile, that smile was perfect. Arham, she whispered, almost as if speaking his name could bring him back. Years had passed since he left, not for college, not for marriage, not for war. He left for a better life. He had dreams, not small ones, but dreams larger than the small town that raised him. And Aisha, being a mother, never stopped him. She never held him back. She believed love meant letting go when needed, and waiting when no one else would. When Arham finished college, he received a job opportunity in another country. His excitement was uncontrollable. His voice sparkled with ambition every time he talked about it. "Ami, this is my chance. I can earn well. I can give you a better life," he said, his eyes filled with hope. Aisha smiled softly and placed her hand on his cheek. "You already give me everything, but if this makes your life better, go." She cooked his favorite meals before his flight: biryani, kia, and chicken curry. She stayed awake the night before his departure, watching him sleep, memorizing his face like she feared the world would erase it from her memories. On the morning of his flight, she held his hands tightly. "Promise me you will call every day," she said gently. He laughed and replied, "Every day, Ami, I'll call twice." She hugged him, not knowing that promises are the first things life breaks. The first few months were beautiful, almost perfect. Arham called every day, sometimes early morning, sometimes late at night. "Ami, food here tastes like plastic," he joked once. Aisha laughed and told him what herbs to add. "Ami, I burned the rice again." She giggled. Beta, patience, and low flame, like life. He sent pictures to his office. New friends, the snow he was seeing for the first time. Every call melted the distance. Every message felt like a warm hug. Aisha would wait near the window every night. As soon as the phone rang, she rushed to pick up. But slowly, the calls reduced. Twice a day became once a day. Once a day became once a week. Once a week became once a month. And then, silence. One winter evening, after almost 3 months without contact, Aisha's phone beeped. Her heart raced faster than her thoughts. It was a message. "Ami, things are very busy. I'll call later. Take care." Just one line, no emoji, no voice note, no warmth. Aisha read that message over and over, unsure if she should feel relieved. He remembered her or broken because he didn't have time to speak. She typed a reply. "I am fine. Beta, eat well." She wanted to write more. She wanted to ask, "Are you happy? Do you sleep well? Do you miss me? Do you remember home?" But her fingers stopped. Mothers never ask for love. They wait for it. Time passed like sand slipping through fingers, slow, silent, unstoppable. Aisha still kept his room clean. She still cooked for two, sometimes out of habit. She still waited near the window every night, hoping for a ring, a message, a sign. Friends and neighbors gradually stopped asking about him. They had heard the same answer too many times. "He's busy, he'll call." Some whispered, "Maybe he forgot her." Some said, "He must have a new life now." Aisha ignored all of it, because somewhere deep in her heart she believed a truth only mothers believe. A son never forgets his mother. Sometimes life just distracts him. One evening, during Eid, Aisha, dressed in her soft green sari, the same one Arham once complimented. "Ami, you look like a princess," he had said. Laughing, she prepared sweets, decorated the house with small lights, and placed an extra plate on the table. She sat and waited. Minutes passed, then hours. Finally, night swallowed the sky. No call, no message. Just a silence sharper than a knife. She looked at the empty chair across the table and whispered, "The food is waiting, Beta." But no one came. A tear slipped down her cheek, not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet tear carrying years of longing. Her mobile phone became her closest companion. She kept it fully charged even when it never rang. Sometimes, late at night, she would call his number just to hear, The number you are trying to reach is unavailable. And still, she never gave up. Hope is not a habitat, is a mother's instinct. Evening, she took out a notebook and wrote a letter. My dear Arham, I don't know if you are eating well. I don't know if you have someone to talk to. I don't know if you are happy, but I pray for you every day. I miss you, my son. Your room is waiting. I am waiting. Come home when you can. Even if you are late, I will still be here. When she finished writing, she folded the letter neatly, held it to her heart, and whispered, "One day, you will read this." But she never posted it. Instead, she placed it inside Arham's childhood diary. Years passed, her hair turned gray, her walk slower, her eyes weaker, but her hope, still alive. Every time someone knocked on the door, she felt her heart pound. Every time a plane flew overhead, she looked up. Every time a young man walked by, she looked carefully. Just in case it was him. Just in case life had finally returned what it took. And somewhere across the world, Arham lived his life. New friends, new job, new routines. Every now and then, he thought of her, but the thought faded quickly, under the weight of responsibilities and distractions. He didn't know that the woman who once held him when he cried now cried alone. He didn't know the woman who waited for his first steps now waited for his footsteps at the door. He didn't know that love doesn't age but hearts do. Tone softened a little. I'll try. I'll call again. And before she could say more, he hung up. The call lasted 2 minutes and 47 seconds, but for Aisha, it felt like a lifetime. She held the phone to her chest and whispered, "At least, he remembers." As months passed, Aisha's health began to fade. The weakness started small, forgetting where she kept her glasses, feeling tired while cooking, losing her balance while walking. Soon, even breathing felt heavy. Neighbors noticed. One day, her neighbor Razia knocked on her door. "Aisha, Baji, you look pale. Let me take you to the doctor." Aisha forced a smile. "I'm fine, just a little tired." But her trembling hands told another story. Razia insisted, and soon Aisha found herself sitting in a cold clinic under harsh white lights. The doctor studied her reports for a long time, too long. Finally, he spoke gently. "Aisha ji, you have a weak heart condition, and it's been there for some time." She nodded silently. "It can be managed," he continued, "but you must avoid emotional stress." She smiled sadly. How can a mother avoid the heart she gave birth to? That night, Aisha thought of calling Arham, but something held her back. She opened the voice recording feature and whispered into the phone, "Arham, I don't know if you will listen to this, but I want you to know something. If life feels heavy, don't carry it alone. If you feel lost, remember the way home. I am still here, and as long as I breathe, I will wait." When she tried to send it, she hesitated. Her thumb hovered over the send button, but then she pressed delete. Some words, she thought, break more than they heal. Meanwhile, miles away, Arham's world was changing. He received the promotion he worked for. His salary increased, responsibilities grew, and with that came a new apartment, new lifestyle, new people. Among them was Sophia, a colleague who became a friend, and slowly, a part of his life. Sophia once asked him, "Do you ever miss home?" Arham went silent. Home, the word felt heavy. "I do," he finally replied, "but life moved forward, and I guess so did I." Sophia smiled kindly. "Sometimes going back is harder than leaving." Arham nodded because deep down, he knew, it wasn't distance that kept him away. It was guilt. He knew his mother waited. He knew he should call, but every day he delayed, until days became weeks. Weeks became months, and months became years again. Ayas's birthday arrived. She didn't tell anyone, not even Arham, but she remembered. Mothers always remember, even when the world forgets them. She cooked a small meal and sat at the table, one plate in front of her, one empty plate beside it. She lit a small candle, closed her eyes and whispered, "I don't want gifts. I just want to hear his voice." She waited the whole day, no call, no message, just another silent night. Before sleeping, she looked at the empty plate and whispered, "You'll come someday. Maybe not today, maybe not soon, but I'll wait." One rainy evening, Arham finally opened an old suitcase he brought from his childhood home years ago but never unpacked. Inside it was the letter Aisha had written, long ago, the one she never sent. Her handwriting was delicate, small, filled with love and longing. As he read it, his heart trembled. Every word felt like it was crying. "I miss you. I still wait. Come home when you can." Tears blurred his vision. He suddenly realized how much time had passed. How many moments he never shared. How many memories he never made. For the first time in a long time, he dialed her number. Ringing, ringing, ringing. No answer. He tried again. Ringing, ringing. Still nothing. Panic crept into his voice as he whispered, "Amy, please pick up." Finally, someone answered, but it was not Ayesha, it was Razia Arham Beta. She said, surprised, "Yes, where is Amy? Why didn't she answer?" There was silence. Long, heavy, painful. Finally Razia said softly, "Arham, your mother is in the hospital." His world shook. Everything inside him collapsed. Hours later, Arham sat on a plane, his hands shaking, his heart racing. Every second felt like a punishment. Every memory returned, her smile, her cooking, her softness, her prayers. Tears rolled down his cheeks silently. He whispered to himself, "I'm coming. Amy, please wait." Something inside him prayed harder than ever before. When Arham reached the hospital, the hallway smelled of medicines and grief. He rushed to the room and saw her. She looked peaceful, as if sleeping, but too still, too quiet, too late. Arham fell to his knees beside her bed. He held her hand, the same hand that once carried him, fed him, taught him, blessed him. "Amy," he whispered, voice breaking, "I'm here. Please open your eyes. I came back." But she didn't single quotes t. Because sometimes life waits, but time doesn't. A nurse placed something gently beside him. A sealed envelope, it read, "For my son, whenever he returns." Hands shaking, he opened it. Inside was a single line. "I forgave you long before you left, and I loved you long after you forgot." Arham pressed the letter to his heart and broke, truly broke, for the first time. Years later, Arham kept his mother's room exactly the same. Every evening, he sat in her rocking chair, holding her photograph. Now he waited not for someone to return, but for forgiveness he would never fully receive. Because sometimes, a son returns home too late, and a mother leaves too early.